Quick fire information from the Ranveer show. This is our highlights channel, TRS Clips. Subscribe and enjoy the video. I want to ask you what Hrithik and John took to build their bodies. In terms of supplementation, I'm assuming you had them on creatine as well.
Yeah. So I've got, for instance, I got Hrithik on creatine right now. So creatine, protein powder, a lot of antioxidants because they're going through a lot of free radical damage. So that's like vitamin C, glutathione, PQQ, My Vital C, which is a carbon C60. It's a Nobel-winning atom, a carbon, sorry, not atom, carbon. And My Vital C is like a human grade of that. And then hydrogen-rich water. So hydrogen-rich water and My Vital C, they have high antioxidant value that doesn't cause a hormetic blunting response. So when you're working out, you want what's called hormesis, inflammation from your workout. And that's what causes the body to go, you know what? This is trauma. I need to continue to grow, get stronger, more powerful, etc.
Let me just break that down a little bit. When you're doing a bicep curl, your bicep heats up. Like when you take it to failure. Yeah, that's the inflammation.
Yeah, and it breaks down muscle tissue. So the next day when your biceps are sore, it's because you've torn little myofibrils, muscle fibers basically, inside the muscle fibers. You've broken them down. They're sore. So now you want that traumatic response from it, that inflammatory response to continue to grow. However, if you take things like vitamin C or vitamin E, that will blunt that around your workout. Any other time is fine, but not around your workout. But you can take other antioxidants, such as hydrogen-rich water, such as carbon C60, that is very, very high in antioxidants, but it won't blunt that response. So it's great at beating a lot of the free radical damage that we endure without blunting that response from training. So I get them on those supplements as well. Glutamine. So glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in your body, but it's also good for gut health as well. So glutamine for that purpose.
What does it do to the aesthetics of the physique or to the muscle building process?
It prevents atrophy.
Muscle loss.
Yes. Along with, say, with branched chain amino acids as well. Branched chain amino acids can provide muscle energy output, but actually prevent some of the catabolic response from weight training as well.
We'll break down BCAAs in detail because it's probably India's most popular supplement after creatine and protein shakes. Yeah. But specifically glutamine, this is debated in Indian gyms. So Kris Gethin is saying that you should be having it because it will prevent atrophy.
Yes.
So assuming that, say, Hrithik or John or whoever is on a very intense professional schedule, would you put them on glutamine then? Or are they on glutamine throughout the year? Like when do you actually put someone on?
No, when they're on hard training. When they're going through hard training, yes.
But why would atrophy happen in a phase of hard training?
Because when you go to the gym and train extremely hard, that is the most catabolic thing that we can do. We lose muscle when we train. We actually have to do it though to signal muscle growth through recovery from nutrition, from sleep. Okay, so you have to cause that trauma in order to recover from the trauma.
So this is a catabolic experience, and then you have to make sure that all your anabolic experiences together overpower the catabolic experience.
Exactly.
How do you supplement with glutamine? Like when? Is it during the workout?
It's usually before and after the workout. During the workout, I'll usually have branched chain amino acids and essential amino acids. Okay, creatine before and after the workout, bookend that workout. Protein powder straight after the workout. That's when I usually have it, yeah.
Okay.
And glutamine as well, usually about 20 grams. So he'll have a couple of bottles of water with glutamine in there, with creatine in there. So it's taken throughout the day as well.
Let's boil it down to the basics again. I think the average listener here is concerned about looking hot, like looking good. There's very few people who are only concerned about putting on muscle mass.
Yeah.
I think I'd put all women in that category who are concerned about putting on muscle mass, and a few guys who are fitness nerds. But primarily, most of the men watching this are watching this for aesthetics. So keeping that in mind, say there's case A with someone who's only supplementing with protein shakes and maybe creatine. Case B, who's supplementing with protein shakes, creatine, and then glutamine added to it. What would be the percentage difference in the results with the same training or the same duration of time?
Look, all these supplements together probably provide about 5% of your overall gains. You know, a lot of people put a lot of value in supplements. No, it's going to come down to the consistency and the intensity of your training, your nutrition, your sleep, and your hydration. Then the other 5%, again, dependent on the individual though, 5% will be made up from the supplementation that you take to help with the recovery and fuel your workouts, okay? Now, there could be a case where, let's say that person just cannot eat the 6 meals and they rely on supplements for 3 of those meals, then maybe the supplements are going to be a bigger percentage now for that individual. All comes down to a case-by-case basis.
But is also focusing on sleep, is the correct way to go. And case B is having all the supplements, but getting about 6 hours of sleep every night, which is not horrible, but it's not optimum either. What would be the percentage difference in the two?
It'd probably be another 5% on top of that.
Okay.
Gotcha. So that, you're getting a lot of sleep or plenty of sleep. Some people work well on less sleep, but then they overtrain, which makes it a little bit worse. They, let's say if they're not sleeping that much, but now they train 5-6 times a week, that's not going to be optimal for them. If you're sleeping less, you probably need to train less.
I remember on the first episode we spoke about Yoga Nidra very briefly, but I think in that episode you had misunderstood what I was saying. You highlighted pranayam, I highlighted Yoga Nidra, and we went on our 2 separate tangents. I'm going to talk about Yoga Nidra a little bit again.
Yeah.
In the scientific world, it's called progressive muscle relaxation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's the same. The Yoga Nidra is a slightly more nuanced version of progressive muscle relaxation. And in the world of yoga, they tell us to do it ideally 4 to 5 hours before you go to sleep to enhance the quantity of REM sleep you experience when you're actually sleeping, which in the long-term scheme of things reduces your sleep quota. And I've noticed this with myself, both combining Yoga Nidra, like the progressive muscle relaxation, along with meditation, reduces how much sleep I need.
Yeah.
Which effectively in the sum of things gives me more time to do other shit, which could also be in a longer workout.
It comes down to the quality, not always the quantity.
Yeah. While we're speaking about workouts, do you also want to kind of give a guideline when it comes to total time dedicated to a weight training session?
Sure. Yeah. When it comes to a smaller muscle group, let's say, could be shoulders, for instance, that workout could probably last maybe 30, 40 minutes. It's not long. But then if it's a larger muscle group, which requires more oxygen, more ATP, adenosine triphosphate, so you have to rest a little bit longer between the sets, it could be like an hour-long workout. Yeah.
If you see people stretching it to 90 minutes, what's your take?
They probably haven't trained hard enough. That's usually the protocol. So, maybe they're taking too long of a rest. Maybe they're not training to absolute failure. They think that they're training hard, but they're not actually training hard. Usually it turns out to be volume as opposed to intensity.
So your gauge of a good workout is wrap it up in an hour.
Yeah, well, the gauge is that you shouldn't have anything left in the tank. If someone comes and trains with me, I'm not blowing my own horn here, but if they come and train with me and they're able to train after we finish the session, they haven't trained hard enough.
Got it.
And I don't think that's ever happened.
I hear you, and I'm on the same page as you. I'm on the exact same page. The issue, especially in Indian gyms, is a lot of people don't focus enough on their form. And in this process of getting everything to failure, I mean, it's okay to lose a bit of your form sometimes, but there is a real lack of form-based education in the world of Indian exercise. I think it's getting fixed gradually through YouTube, etc. Back in the day, there was nothing. Everyone was just doing anything. So do you see this a lot?
I've noticed it through the injuries that a lot of people have here. A lot of back issues, a lot of slip discs, ruptured discs. So I can only assume it happened a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's okay to use a little bit of control cheating after you've reached absolute failure with a very strict movement. So as an example, I'm talking about this because it happened this morning. I had Hrithik do drop sets on side raises, for instance, seated. We did 3 drop sets seated. Then when he couldn't do any more in a very strict fashion, sat down, I got him to stand up. Because now you're going to start to use a little bit of momentum from your lower back, maybe a little bit from your traps, but it's okay if you pre-fatigued the muscle already.
Gotcha.
So that's okay in that instance, once you've reached absolute failure with very strict form.
Got it. If you enjoyed this video, here's a playlist full of videos kind of related to the one that you just saw. Enjoy.